Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Despite this coronavirus, I hope that you're still being optimistic and positive. You know, I have come to realize that no matter what happens with it, it's still like your mindset is still under your control, right? You can choose to follow the herd and become pessimistic, make a bunch of dumb conspiracies up about it, whether or not they're true or not. I mean, that's who cares, who knows. You can be living in fear, you can be living in paranoia, or you can choose to be like, you know what, whatever happens, happens, right? I can't control my destiny all the time. You know that phrase, man plans and God laughs? Like, you can only plan so much for your life, you can only do so much, but at the end of the day, you don't get to decide when you live or die, or what if you get sick or not, or what happens to your life, right? Like, literally, I can go outside today, go and walk, and a car could just go crazy and hit me and I would die, right? I can't, there's literally nothing I can do to control that, right? Um, I could not go for a walk. That's something I could control. But when I do go for a walk, how will I know if that would happen, right? Do you see the dilemma there? Anything you do in life can really change in a second. So you're not the master of your own destiny necessarily. Um, but yeah, I don't want to have that mentality of like, oh, I'm gonna constantly soak up the news. Oh, how many people died from coronavirus today? How is that gonna benefit me and my family and like my mindset and my goals in the business? It's not. It's literally not going to do anything. I obviously should be somewhat aware of what's going on and be careful and stop licking your hands, stop touching door handles, right? But ultimately, there's going to be nothing good to come out of that when you're being negative about everything and you're just huddled down, like super paranoid, right? I want to choose to not be like that as much as possible. I mean, I do slip up and it happens. I'm like, oh no, what if I'm gonna get sick? But it's just a bunch of crap, right? There's no point of living life like that. It's like just living in constant fear. But like I said, don't go out and be stupid and do stuff. Stop hanging out in crowds and all that crap. I don't do that either. I'm working and staying home as much as I can. So that's just some short announcements. But what I really wanted to talk about today was the three pillars of the business that, like, the running a streetwear brand, right? That this is what I've just learned and kind of noticed. And a lot of people ask me, what's like the most important things to do or know? And here's the video for it. This is just what I've learned. The three important pillars of a clothing brand, I think, are first, the design, right? And in the design, that would include like the literal graphics. I would say like photography, that stuff, the website, and also if you are more into like cut and sew items, that would be like the whole fashion kind of side of it, right? And that would be like production, because that's also interwoven with design. So you have design. The second big pillar is marketing. Without marketing, no one's gonna know about your brand. They're not gonna care about it. You're not gonna get their attention. You're not gonna sell, which is ultimately the point of a brand, is to get sales, right? What are you gonna just make a bunch of stuff and waste material and no one's gonna care? So marketing is extremely important. And in marketing, it has the whole social and physical sense, right? You can physically market, you can socially market on the web. And the third pillar, I would say, is business, like just the general business side of it. And that's running all the numbers, making sure you got the money's coming in, money's going out, being in charge of inventory, paying like yourself or your employees, like long-term strategy with your resources and money, and just in general running the business, I guess, like the brand, because there's a lot, like, paying your taxes and doing the sales tax and all that crap, getting like your LLC or your documents that you need for that, right? That's all like in the business side. So there's design, there's marketing, and there's just overall business, right? Those are the three main pillars of running a clothing brand from my experience. What I've learned and what tends to happen, especially with designers and artists, is that they're like, oh dude, I'm gonna start a brand, it's gonna be fun, I'm just gonna do it on the side and make some money and it'll be great, I'll make a lot of sales, a lot of money. And their head is so stuck in like the design, the artsy part of it, and they completely ignore marketing and business, right? That's like boring to them. They don't want to do that. And ultimately the marketing and the business side of it, those are the two parts where the most work is happening, honestly. Like, I would say the design part is probably maybe like 15-20% of the entire business. Because look, if you have a product that's good quality, you marketed well, your business is really structured, everything's organized, but the product is just ugly and it sucks, like, I mean, even if it's good quality, if it's just ugly, who's gonna buy it? Who's gonna want it, right? Like, if the graphic and like the form, the style of the piece is just really ugly, no one's gonna buy it. Everyone's gonna be like, that's ugly. This brand is dumb, right? So it's important. But I honestly don't think it's as important as the marketing and the business side. And the reason why is because it almost contradicts what I said just a minute ago about the design has to be good. Because rappers and artists and famous people like that, they often make like ugly designs. Like, they're ugly in a way, but they're also kind of like artistic and unique looking, you know? And they still sell like crazy. Like, people are like, oh, this is cool. Because what they do is they turn that ugliness into something that people like, right? Because people will chase the cool factor, right? Like, if Kanye puts out like a hoodie or something and it's just like, in your eyes it's ugly, but since he's famous and so he has the marketing side down, and he's a billionaire too, like his Yeezys worth over $1 billion, so that's definitely like the business is structured and it is there, right? He is so good at those two things that the design part necessarily doesn't have to be that great, right? And people will still be like, oh, this is sick, I'm gonna buy it, right? They buy his merch, his shoes, everything, right? So you can definitely see how the marketing and the business overrides the design. And a lot of designers and artists, I will always say this, they get so caught up in all the just, oh, I'm gonna make the design like super perfect, it's gonna be, you're like literally like you're stuck, your brain is just stuck so far up your work, you know, and you're just a perfectionist, you're constantly doing that, and you're just not focusing on the important stuff. The design is not as important as you think it is, you know? You can make cool whatever you want to make cool, right? So be a good designer, be a good artist, find good people to do that if you can't do that yourself. If you are gifted in that side, that's like a huge plus, because like if you're gifted in all three areas, you will succeed as a one person brand until you get to the point where you start getting employees and stuff. Like, you will, because those three things have to be like in balance and in check. And a lot of people that start brands, they don't have those three things in check. They have one or two of the things, and then they really lag behind on one area, and that's ultimately what causes like their business to crumble and not really, you know, catch traction. Because what you really want, like the formative years, it's so difficult to just get that traction. You're climbing, like it's really hard. Once you get to that peak, and then you like see everything, like, oh, okay, and then the snowball just starts just rolling. You'll just keep growing and expanding, right? You're gonna keep expanding. So don't get too caught up in the details and the little design art crap, right? And I'm a graphic designer. I went to school and all that junk, and I'm giving you like advice that just what I've learned, you know. Okay, now on to the marketing. So marketing is, I would say it's as equal as the business side. So okay, let's give the art and design 20%, right? Now we have 80% left. So I think marketing is like 40, should be like 40% business, and then the other 40% would be business. So we have 100%, right? This is just my experience. It doesn't mean it's right. That's just what I've learned. The marketing is really important. So you can have a really well structured business, the website's pristine, everything's super optimized, and that's what I'm really about, optimization. And I'm not as optimized as you think. There's so many things that need to be fixed and tweaked, and forever I'll be doing that. And you got the design part down, you know? Without the marketing, no one's gonna know about your clothing. No one's gonna care. You know, you want people to care. You want the community. You want people to tell their friends. You want repeat customers, right? You can't have or get any of that without marketing. And marketing, people are like, oh, I can't afford that. It's too expensive. You can't afford not to market though, because let's say you design a great t-shirt. Then you get a bunch of inventory and you spent money on it. What are you gonna do with all that inventory? You're like hundreds, thousands of dollars down the hole, right? You gotta move product. It's like selling drugs. You gotta move those bricks, move that product out, right? You can't be sleeping on that. So marketing, it's like, and even if you have $0 for a marketing budget, it doesn't matter, because you can literally market on social media and do that all like physically, or even like, yeah, like physically. You can literally go to a skate park and start talking to people like, hey, I have this really cool brand. Do you want to check it out? Do you want to take a look at it? You want some free stickers, right? Like literally you can do stuff like that if you weren't a baby and you tried, right? And you didn't complain. And if you're super antisocial, just go on Instagram, go on Facebook, go on TikTok, whatever platform you're comfortable with, and start marketing to people that way, right? Start promoting your brand, but not in an annoying way. Do it in a nice way, because if you're really spammy and annoying about it, you're just going to be pushing people away, right? You're probably going to push more people away than however many you catch, right? And be clever. Marketing really is about being clever. It's about thinking outside the box, because everyone is marketing a certain way. So figure out how you can separate yourself from the crowd so you'll get people's attention, right? Because you need people's attention. And getting attention, like, don't think of that as like a negative thing, because the people that scream the loudest get noticed, whether that's good or bad, right? But it's true. Like if you were in a mall and you just yelled really loud, the whole mall would be dead silent and everyone would look at you. And people, it's funny, if you go on YouTube, people do that kind of stuff. They just yell something funny and it's dead silent, and everyone's like, what? And they all look at the person. That person got everyone's attention because they shouted the loudest, they screamed the loudest. Of course, there's also situations, so let me explain. There's really, really high quality brands that don't really have a marketing budget. They don't really invest that much time into marketing because their product is just so good, and they you know, somehow channeled their way in through the media and through people's minds. They got into there, like Tesla. They don't really market. Like you don't see like their ads or their TV commercials or anything like that, but their product is really good, and they got into like the society, right? Into the consciousness of everyone. So people know about Tesla, and they don't really have to focus on marketing. They focus on the product, and focusing on the product, that's kind of like business and design together, I would say, because the product takes a lot of like R&D, like research and development, and then it also takes like the design, right? And it kind of meshes them together. And also like to pay for the product, to make it and purchase it, you need like to know the business side. So it's like it's kind of a mesh between the two. So it kind of pushes marketing out, but those are kind of rare situations, and I think in the design and clothing aspect, it doesn't really work that much. Like you just need to market. Like there's no other way. You got to push that through. Um, like like I said, if we're talking strictly about clothing brands, it kind of doesn't matter how good your brand is. Like it's like super good quality design, super good, like business all set up, but it doesn't matter because people aren't gonna see your stuff, especially right now through this really noisy age and digital sphere. They just won't see it, you know. Or maybe they will see it, but it'll take you like 10 years for everyone to notice your product, right? And you don't want to wait 10 years. You gotta push through. And you'll grow like way faster, you know, like from year 0 to 10 if you're marketing, doing all that stuff, right? Than if you just don't do that and you wait 10 years, right? You're gonna be growing way more on the other side. So marketing is really important. Learn that, like invest time, invest money, and read a lot of books about that. You got to know that. The last pillar, the last huge thing is the business and the overall business structure, how that runs. So what can happen is you got a good design down, you're marketing really well, but you're not paying attention to like cash flow, you're not paying attention to funds, like because money is throughout the business, money's going out and coming in. Like it's really weird. So I make a bunch of sales and all that stuff, but that I don't even look at that. I'm literally looking at the next thing, you know, like as a drop happens and clothing's released, it's like not really like I'm already thinking about the next month and purchasing next month's inventory. Like that money is like almost gone in a sense. It's just reinvested and recycled back into the business so I can grow more, get more inventory, right? Like money is constantly going in and out in a business. And if you don't know how to manage that and make sure that you don't run out of funds and that you're paying, like let's say you have employees, you're paying your employees, you're paying your manufacturers, you're paying your taxes, right? You gotta really be on top of that stuff because your business can crumble under all of that, right? If you're not on top of that. And that happens to a lot of people. I've seen like even local businesses here, just any business, they're doing really well, like lots of business, they have a good product, like let's say like a restaurant, everyone knows about it, so they're marketing somehow, whether that's through the food or through like word of mouth, but they weren't taking care of business stuff on the side and the business got shut down. Like there was one business in my town, they had like tax problems, they just weren't paying their taxes and they got shut down, and they're a really great business. I enjoyed going there because it was like a restaurant. So that's what can happen to you as well. You can just be really behind on that. And I know people like, oh, I don't want to learn about money, I don't want to, it's not about money. Well, your thinking's a little screwed up because you have to, like this is a big pillar that I'm talking about, right? You have to be oriented in that way. You have to pay attention to that. And in the business, like it's also like inventory, managing inventory flow. Do you want the product to be limited, or do you want it to be like you only make a certain amount, right? Or do you want it to be like making constant product and it's coming through, right? I mean, like most clothing brands, they don't make like an infinite supply because then no one will care. They'll like have inventory flowing in and out, but they're probably not gonna make a lot of it. So you gotta pay attention to that. And then you also just gotta pay attention to like just all the details in it too. I'm probably gonna make a lot of like just super detailed business videos. Like for instance, I was making an employee like email training guide, like customer service guide, right? Because there's probably around 10 or 15 emails that are all roughly the same kinds of questions. And I try to answer that on like the facts and questions page on my business, on the website. But people still, you know, customers still are like, oh, where's my package? I can I get a different size of the shirt and return this one, right? So I made like a whole manual how to deal with that stuff, right? And that's like a business thing. Like setting up systems in place so things function and run smoothly. And even if you're a one person brand, you still have to do that stuff. You still have to have like, this is the vision of the brand. So when you have like your vision, mission, and principles, every decision you make in regards to your brand and the way things run goes by the vision, mission, and principles, right? Like all you're thinking, if you're like, oh, should I do this this month, or should I do that, right? And then you're like, oh, okay, well, let's see what my vision is. What are my principles? Let's go back to that. Let's see what's important, right? Like for instance, one of my core principles, probably the most important one, is the customer, right? And I modeled this after Jeff Bezos because I really like the way, I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it again, like, you can say whatever you want about Amazon and Jeff Bezos. He is a supervillain. He is taking over the world. He is, Amazon's like a corporation and they have a bunch of problems, especially with the way they treat their employees. But their business is customer centric. It is focused around the customer, and that's admirable. And every business should take notes from them for that. They are super big on that. Like, one of the things that I wrote in the customer service guide was, I put as a question, do you ever worry about where your package is when you order from Amazon? And I wrote, probably not. You really don't. Whenever people order from Amazon, they don't care about where their package is because they know it will get delivered. And if something happened, they know Amazon will help them out. They know Amazon will replace them. They know Amazon will refund them if it's broken. People don't worry about that crap with Amazon. It's so streamlined and optimized and customer centric that's why they have so much business, because people will continue to buy from them. There's been so many times where Amazon like came in clutch for me. Like, I would order something and once in a while something would be broken and I'd just be like, hey, can you guys send a replacement? Like, sure, no problem. And they just got it to me right away, right? Because they value the loyalty and the customer more than anything. And that's like one of my strategies and what I tried to do and what I wrote in the customer service guide. And that all ties back into business, right? You got to pay attention to those kinds of things because your business can really crumble if you're not doing that. So in conclusion, I know this video is long and there's a lot of channels on YouTube that talk about streetwear and all that stuff. So you're probably not going to find one that goes in depth about all these weird topics and all these like this is like the down and dirty of like the business side, right? I'm going like really in depth about stuff like this that no one else is talking about. They're mostly talking about, oh, just put a graphic on there, just put it on Instagram, get it out. They're just like not in depth. They're not really like thinking way out there, thinking so short term and small. And I'm trying to, show you like the big picture of things, right? Show you like the details, like really detailed stuff. So that's kind of the conclusion. The three main pillars of the brand, like clothing brand, is the design, it's the marketing, and it's the overall business. And if you get those three down, like, and you're also focused and disciplined, that's a video I'll make about those two topics. If you got those three things down and then you are really focused and disciplined, you will succeed. Like, it's, unless you just die, right? If you get hit by a car, then you can't. But you're guaranteed to succeed if you get those three things down and you also are focused and disciplined. And remember that when you're running your brand, design, marketing, business, then be focused and disciplined. And those two are huge topics that I'll discuss later. So I hope you guys like this video. I know it's long, and I could tell. So if you get from minute 1 to minute probably 26 in this video, I could tell that you will probably be more successful because a lot of people have a really short attention span, so they don't have focus and they can't get through anything, so they don't have discipline. They can't just sit down and watch a video, right? Some of these longer videos, people are just they're just babies, you know, they can't get through it. They have the attention span of a squirrel. And I was like that too. I would just be, my attention be everywhere. It's so bad, especially in this digital age. So if you made it this far, congratulations. And I'll be making more lawn videos too. So if you're dedicated, then you're probably gonna succeed. So hope you guys like this video. Leave me some comments below, some thoughts, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, guys.